I'm Valerie Insinna, and this is the Congressional Roundup. Today we talked to Congressman Ken Calvert. He's the head of the House Appropriations Defense Subcommittee, and we had a long-ranging conversation about everything from what's happening with the budget to how to make the Defense Department more innovative. Well, thank you so much for being here with us. I wanted to check in first on something that I think is on everyone's mind, which is the continuing resolution that needs to get hammered out probably by the end of this month. What's the latest that you can tell us about that, particularly on the defense side? I mean, when might we see some text? What are you guys talking about in terms of a timeline for how long that could extend? And are we going to see any additional money for defense in there?
As an appropriator, I agree with the chairman, Tom Cole, that we should keep this CR for a short period of time. We need to continue to put the pressure on to get this appropriation process completed. So we've been public about wanting this to be sometime in November, flexible on what that date might be. There are some who want to have a CR until spring. There's been reports from the administration of that effect. That's not something that we're supportive of. We'll see how that negotiation goes. That's really a decision that's going to be made by the leadership in consultation with the chairman.
From a defense perspective, if there were a CR that went all the way to spring, what concerns would you have? Is there anything that you can kind of point to as something that would be tangibly harmful?
Well, a CR costs money. That's the biggest problem because there's no new starts. You can't create enough anomalies to predict what's necessary within the largest enterprise in the world. And so it makes it very difficult to operate the department from day to day. So we're doing everything we can to make sure we can pass a defense appropriation bill, and to keep our doors open. It's important. It's been destructive to have a CR this last year, I think, and it's caused operating problems. I don't want to get into the specifics of it, but it's not the right way to run a business.
If there is a short-term CR, is there going to be any additional money in there for defense priorities? You know, sometimes we see supplemental funding going for, different foreign aid needs or for the submarine industrial base we've seen in the past. Is there anything like that being talked about?
My suspicion is that there'll be some anomalies, maybe some reprogramming requests within the CR that will be accommodated. But other than that, I think it'll be a relatively clean continuing resolution.
At this point, how concerned are you about the potential likelihood of a government shutdown?
I'm always concerned. I've gone through a number of them. They're never pleasant, and it serves no purpose. That's not why we're here, especially to the Department of Defense. It causes all kinds of difficulties. So hopefully we can be adults and get this worked out.
You did mention some of the issues that have kind of arisen from the fact that we're under a full year CR right now, and I kind of wanted to dig into that a little bit. We've always heard, we in the press, we in the public, have always heard that it would be disastrous for the DoD to be under a full year CR. Obviously, when you as appropriators tried to put together the terms of the CR, you tried to give the Defense Department a certain amount of wiggle room to hurt them as little as possible. How has that been? Like, how do you think that all turned out in terms of how it worked? What worked, what didn't work?
Well, obviously we're still open and doing business as the Department of Defense, but it causes, I think, an erosion in the department of personnel, and something that you don't readily see. It's damaging to the day-to-day operations of the department, and so I think they're counting on us to get this done, and we're doing everything we can to make sure that occurs. And it's not why people send members of Congress to do this job, to have continuing resolutions. It's to have us work this out and to fund the United States government.
I mean, moving a little bit to the FY26 appropriations, That's something that I know that both the House and Senate really want to get moving on, especially once the CR is sorted, making sure that there is a return to sort of the normal appropriations process. Right now, we have different top lines for defense between the House and the Senate. How likely do you think it is that we'll see top line growth? Or do you think that's kind of a non-starter of a position?
Well, we need 60 votes in the United States Senate. The defense budget that's passed out of the Senate so far is $22 billion higher than the House number. So at the end of the day, we'll have a negotiation and try to work out our differences with the Senate. But non-defense discretionary is there also, and that gets caught up in that because typically Labor H is enjoined with defense in order to pass the bill. So those negotiations will have to take place. I'm sure the Big Four will be involved in that, along with the leadership of the Appropriations Committee to get this done.
The House Defense Appropriations Bill was kind of in a unique position this year. You guys were the first to go out with your spending bill, even before the Defense Department put out its own budget request.
Wow.
Not the way it's supposed to go at all. But was there a conversation among yourself, among Chairman Cole and others on the committee about potentially plussing up above what OMB had already sort of said was going to be the top line for defense this year?
Well, we have our own challenges here in the House to get things passed, and so we decided to work with the president and work with the OMB director, which is challenging, but so to work within the numbers that the president laid down. So that's what we passed the bill at. Mm-hmm. We'll have different challenges working with the Senate.
Right.
And we need the president involved in that also. At the end of the day, we need a defense appropriation bill passed. I think we should pass out all the appropriation bills and to have certainty in the governing process.
Would you personally like to see that number go up from the level that you guys set out this
Well,
year?
we have a lot of needs within the department. It's obviously we passed reconciliation. We have a additional pot of money, $150 billion, but really those go into specific locations and spending and so forth. And so we need to still have the backbone in effect, and that's the appropriation bill pass. So that's what we're looking forward to doing.
I mean, how likely do you think it is that we return to normal appropriations versus having a full year CR?
If I wouldn't be an appropriator.
It's $1 million question, right?
We're here to pass appropriation bills, and I don't think they have the votes. There's not a lot of people don't talk about there. There's not as much support for a CR. Last time we had to do that, we were put in an unfortunate situation where I think our friends on the other side of the aisle didn't think we could pass a CR, and so they wouldn't relent on certain things, and we had to move in that direction. I think they would now wish they had worked with us and got a bill done, but they didn't. This time around, I think I'm hoping that we're going to be able to work this out and to get, like I said, we got to get 60 votes in the Senate. We recognize that. So we got to work out something that both sides agree to.